Hi, everybody, and welcome to Be in the Know, Table Games and More. And today we get back to our vendor series, and my special guest is Ron Laduca. Ron is the Vice President of Product Sales for AGS Incorporated. Ron, welcome to Be in the Know.
How you doing, Benny? Thanks for having me. You got a great show going on. I've seen all your episodes. They're a lot of fun.
All right, so we're going to continue with that fun today, and I always like to start off with veterans like yourself and give the viewers a kind of a history of how you got where you're at. So, how did you get into table games, Ron?
It started a long time ago, unfortunately, but so I always wanted to be. When I went to college, I was working my way through college, working at ShopRite. And I was going to college, and I graduated Montclair State College with a degree in industrial studies. And as soon as I got out of college, I went for interviews, and I went for about 2 or 3 job interviews. It was a no experience. I didn't get any of the jobs. I sort of got frustrated. So I really, I'm an entrepreneurial type of person, and I really, I started my own consulting drafting firm. I went to school for architectural and engineering drafting. So I just started my own. I was only 22 years old. I started my own little consulting firm. I hooked up with an engineering company, and I just put bids in on just like jobs to do drawings, engineering drawings for them. And it really took off. I did it for over a year with them. And, it was great. I mean, I was 22 years old. I was bidding on jobs. I was working at home. And it's a funny story because I continued to work with ShopRite, and continue to do my own business. And I tried to partner up with a buddy that was the grocery manager at ShopRite, and we actually tried to buy supermarkets. And we put bids on about 2 or 3 supermarkets down the Jersey Shore and up north, and we didn't get any of the bids. So then my friend actually got married. And he was like, I'm not looking to do any more, going out on my own. I have a family now, wife and stuff. So that's when I said, you know what? And I'm packing up my car, and you're probably going to hear during this interview, I've packed up my car 3 times in my life and just left. And, fortunately, all 3 times that I've made that decision, it actually worked out really well for me. So, just a little message for people. Don't be afraid to take a chance. Get out there and try different things. So now I'm ready to go. I pack up my car. I sign up for craft school down in Atlantic City. I lived in a little town called Nutley, New Jersey. So if you know New Jersey, everything's by the Parkway. So I was exit 151, and I shot all the way down to exit 38, Atlantic City. And first day of craft school, I borrowed my sister's car, packed up all my stuff, drove, got through the Atlantic City Expressway toll, and blew the engine. So, so pulled over, seized the engine, no oil, opened up the hood, didn't know what to do. I was about 5 minutes before my first craft class started, so I was all nervous, anxious to get there. I didn't know what to do, so I shut the hood. I hitchhiked on into Atlantic City from the expressway, probably about 6-7 miles. I hitchhiked in. Somebody picked me up. I was probably about an hour late for class, but when I walked in, my hands were all greasy and everything. So I think they understood. I got stuck, and that was my beginning of my career.
I remember the movie with Richard Pryor where he said that fire is inspirational. But like you, I packed my car up and decided to go to Vegas. And let me tell you what, packing up that car and all your belongings being in that car is very inspirational. So go ahead. Now you're in the class in Atlantic City. What happens from there?
So I'm in a class in Atlantic City, and I sit down, and then there's a gentleman sitting next to me who I actually became great friends, business partners with, and ended up working in the future with him. He was vice president of table games, and I was casino manager 20, 30 years later, but his name was Todd Fishon, and he was like, I didn't know him, and I sat down, and he's like, man, what happened to you? I was like, dude, you ain't gonna believe this. I got stuck, my car's stuck. I don't know what to do now. I'm in Atlantic City, no car, nowhere to live. I'm trying to do this craft class, and he actually turned out to be a great friend. He's like, dude, don't worry about it. I got an apartment. You can stay with me. We went after class, first day of class, we went to back to get all my stuff out of the car, left the car on the side of the highway, and I went with him. I called up the police and told them, listen, you could take the car and tow it and junk it. And I ended up going to craft school at Casino Career Institute. That was my first game. And then a pivotal choice was at that time, they were hiring like part-time dealers. But at the exact time, the next class for a new casino was opening for the Showboat. So they offered a blackjack class. And the deal was if you took their blackjack class and got hired, you would be hired as a full-time dealer. So that's what I ended up doing. So I actually took craps and blackjack before I ever entered and worked in a casino. But then that's where I started my career. I went through pretty much all the phases of with everybody went through progression-wise. I mean, I was a dealer, I was a supervisor, I was a pit manager, shift manager, worked my way up to casino manager, vice president of table games, all the way up to vice president of player development. So I have a lot of gaming and hands-on experience, which really helped me through my career. But like a lot of the things that happened to me, I think I was really lucky. I think it was very unique because I know a lot of guys that worked their way up from dealing all the way up to, casino manager, vice president. But I got lucky when I was working Showboat. I dealt and I supervised, and I went to Foxwoods as a shift manager. And then there, I was sort of pulled off the gaming floor and got to work behind the scenes. And I worked with our casino manager at the time. His name is Rich Tesler, probably one of the top casino executives in the business. And when it comes from the behind-the-scenes stuff, he was really knowledgeable. He sort of mentored me. I did a lot of things like, responsible for doing the budget, staffing the casino, scheduling the casino, doing a table game spread, pit road maps, all these things. And back then we had to do all them things by hand. Like, when we did the budget, it was with a calculator, and a pad and pencil and things like that. So he really taught me a lot. And I think this really, really helped me later on. So I ended up working for Foxwoods for over 11 years. And then in 2003, I sort of wanted to get my entrepreneurial skills going. So I actually started several businesses, and me and a partner opened up fitness centers in Massachusetts. And I actually opened up 6 fitness centers, and they really took off. They were franchises. I built them up quick, and they really, really took off. So I actually had to leave Foxwoods to go and work these businesses. And I started working them, and they took off. And within a year, they really grew to a point where I could see it peaked up. And then you could see competition and stuff all surrounding the areas, and it's going to start going down. So I sold right away, almost like the stock market. I sold right away, sell high and get out. And when I sold, then I opened up a restaurant, and I had an Italian restaurant for years, and a very successful restaurant. It was in Connecticut, so I had a lot of friends come in. It was a really successful restaurant, but I'm happy I ended up getting out of it because it was an every night, I had a liquor license there, eating, drinking, all my friends would come in. So, I didn't make any money because, I gave the bar away.
drank the profits, yeah.
Yeah. So then I was trying to decide after I saw my restaurant, what should I do? And I thought, now the Hard Rock Casino in Seminoles is going to open up. So I interviewed there. I got a job there, assistant shift manager. And I was going to go to Florida. And I was all ready to go to say, yeah, that'd be cool. Go to Florida, new place opening, it'd be great. And about a week before I was supposed to go, I get a call from my mentor, Rich Tesler, who says, I got a general manager job in a casino in West Virginia, and I need you to come be the director of table games, and we have to open up table games, and we only have 6 months to do it. And I was like, wow, like Florida or West Virginia, you know? And I was like, oh, well, I got to go stick with what, helped me through the business. So I went there, and it really, really, the challenge of opening up a casino from the ground floor is just unbelievable. The amount of work. I mean, it's just 7 days a week. We work 12 to 14 hours a day. And just to not only besides getting the table games open, I mean, and poker room, I mean, we had over 70 tables. I mean, just to write all them regulations and order all that equipment and train all the dealers and hire. And it was just, all the procedures for fills and credits and drop boxes. And I also got to work with all the heads of all these other departments: security, surveillance, the cage. We had to actually build a vault because there was no vault in the casino. So we had to actually build a vault, food and beverage, IT. So it was just like a whole, unbelievable experience. I learned everything. And it was just a great experience. And I worked there. It was very successful. We opened up in the 6-month time frame. And I worked there for about a year and a half. And then I actually got a call from the gentleman that when my car broke down and I went to craft school with and worked with him. He called me, he says, listen, I'm opening up a casino at the Greenbrier in West Virginia. I need you to come up there and open it up and write the regs. And we have to get a temporary casino open. And I don't know if you're familiar with the Greenbrier Resort. It's an amazing resort. It's a 5-star resort. It's a golf heaven, 4 PGA golf courses. They've had PGA events there for 4 or 5 years now. It's actually the place where they have the biggest landing area. It's the smallest airport in the world, but they have the biggest landing area for the Air Force One. Because if there was ever a problem back in the day, that was where the president was going to land. And they have an underground bunker for him to live in. And it's so cool now. You can go there. You can take the bunker tours. I mean, you wouldn't even know there was a whole, bunker underneath. The walls are like probably 3 feet thick that you don't even know. Like, they're behind, the wallpaper, you wouldn't know when they open it up. It's like a ball, and you go in. So it's a lot of history towards that. But it was an amazing project because we opened up a temporary casino, and again, it was in just a little bar, and it was very small. We just opened up, I think it was 12 blackjacks, a roulette, a 3-card poker, and we had to build a cage. The cage was being built in where the kitchen was, in the bar, in the vault and everything. And it was just a temporary, because what they did was, it was probably the most unique thing I ever seen. They had a beautiful, port, I guess, what do you call it? Porter's Day when you drive in to the hotel. Yeah, they closed that whole area off, and they just dug 40 feet straight down. Right. And they built the casino, and then they covered it up. So it's a unique casino.
You go down into it.
You go down. Right? When you go inside, you go down and to it, and it's a beautiful casino. But it was more like an amenity to the property, because the only people that can go to that casino were people that were staying at the resort.
That just recently changed, didn't it? I think it did.
Not that I know of. Did it? Okay, because last time I was there, you have to wear a jacket when you go in, and it's a very, high-end casino. But again, it was 40, I think it was 42 or 43 table games. Mm-hmm. So it was a big project, doing it all over again. But it was a little bit easier the second time that I did it than, the first time.
So now, how do you, go from that to developing table games and, starting in bed? Well, how'd that all happen?
Okay, so when I was the director of table games at the first casino in West Virginia I opened, it's called Tri-State Racetrack. Now it's called the Mardi Gras Casino. I am always, as a casino manager, I'm always looking to obviously increase revenue on my games, increase the hold, give the players a good experience, And we had some, blackjack games, and we had some side bets that I wasn't really happy with the way they were going. There were older side bets that have been around. The players weren't thrilled about it. They weren't killing it. And I thought, you know what? I've always been into gambling. I mean, I'm a gambler. I like to gamble. I like to play, but I've also always been into, like, trying to figure out, like I said, as a casino manager, what can I do to increase my revenue and give the players a better experience? So I thought that, to me, my first crack at developing games was I did a side bet. Okay. And I did a side bet on blackjack. It was called In Between. And there was a lot of things that I like put into it. I think with all my experience, like I thought I knew what the players would want. And so when I developed it, I sort of wanted a game within a game. Like, how like a lot of side bets in blackjack are just, what they have to do with blackjack or something like that. I wanted something that really had nothing to do with blackjack, but yet it still was a game within blackjack. So developing games, I really think that the key is, like, I try to develop popular games that I used to play when I was young that I knew I liked. And I think the key is, an important thing is, that's easier said than done, because, like, you might have a game that you like, but the problem is, how do you come up with a betting structure? How does it work in the casino? How can you deal it? How can you get a house advantage? All these kind of things, are important. So when I came up with the game, it was AC Douchey. We used to play AC Douchey all the time, drinking, and the pot used to get crazy. Everybody would bet the pot with a 4 and a 10. It has to be, you got to get the next card in between. It's very simple. And, the pots would really build up. But it was a fun game. So, I took the concept of using the dealer's up card and the player's first two cards. So, but I made the game to where I thought that, I want to give the players a chance. I don't want them to bet, like, just have a high payout and bet $1 on it. Like, there's a lot of side bets out there that, everybody, you see people betting $1, trying to win the big jackpot or something. I wanted a side bet that, had a high hit frequency, where players can win it. So players would bet $10, $15, $25 on it. So this game was very simply, the dealer's up card had the fall in between the player's first two cards. So it was just counting. Very simple for the dealers. I mean, if you have a 4 and a 10 in front of you, obviously the only cards in between is 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. If the dealer's up card was a 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, you would win. So there was a pretty good hit frequency there, about 28%. So players really thought they had a good chance to win. Now, obviously, you have to give some odds. You do have to give some payouts. So, I obviously did what AC Doucey does. The less spread you have, the higher odds you win. Obviously, if you have a card that's a 7 and a 9, there's only one card in between. So if the dealer has that 8 up, you're going to win, 10 to 1 or 12 to 1. And then we put the big payout on the game is 30 to 1. And again, my thinking was, players have to see that 30 to 1 hit often. So I did it to where if you just get a triple, 3 of a kind, triple match, if you have an 8 and an 8 and the dealer has an 8 up, you win 30 to 1. So, I mean, when we did the math on that, the hit frequency, 1 out of every, I think it's 184 hands. I mean, if you're dealing blackjack, the 6 people at a table, and, every 30 minutes, you deal about 180 hands or so, somebody's going to see that 30 to 1 hit. And that brings excitement. People see it. Oh, wow, 30 to 1, 30 to 1. So I put it into the casino, and I could add, 12 blackjack games in the pit. I put 6 of my in bets against 6 of the side bets that were already there. And it was just an overwhelming, everybody was like, we want the in bet. We want the, we play the in bet. We play the in bet.
It was kind of a mixture of blackjack meets Red Dog.
Exactly, and that's and that's a lot of side bets out there, but I like them kind of side bets, like a game within a game. I lean more towards that than I do like our progressive Super 4. It's a game within a game. It's you deal blackjack, but yet if you go to the progressive, it's a 4-card poker game. To me, that's more attractive to the players. I'm betting my money on blackjack already. So I mean, if I get a 20. I don't need to win my side bet. I mean, I already hopefully going to win my hand, So I like that aspect, the game within a game for side bets.
I have a theory and about game creators and table games, guys who are very successful in table games as directors. I always say if you haven't lost your paycheck one time or been out on a bender or something like that, a two-dayer, you can't be a good table games guy and you can't be a good table games developer because you got to know what it is and what the player's feeling. And I can always relate. I know, it's after almost 30 years, it's just uncanny. I know what the guy's going to do before he does it, and it's eerie to me. But that's how attuned I am to the gambler and yourself. I can see that, and that's why you come up with so many popular titles, like Super 4 and your In Bet. And then now what I consider the hottest game out there, although it's been around a while, it's really starting to catch fire, and that's crisscross poker. Tell me about how you developed crisscross.
And that's great. And it goes back to what you were saying. My friends always say, when I'm drinking, I'm thinking. So that's like my motto, and crisscross poker was that type of game. Again, it was a popular game called Fire Across when we were young. We used to play it all the time. If I get two cards and you play, the one hand, you bet on the one hand across and you bet on the one hand down. And that middle card was like the card that played both hands. So it gave a little push to the game, right? And it was the last one turned over. So, but the challenge with crisscross, I mean, I must have did that game 3 or 4 times over, on my kitchen table, you know what I mean? Just like, okay, you make a bet and you do this and that. Oh, that doesn't work. It's still too much of a, player advantage. Okay, let's try this. And I end up having to actually come up with the 2 anti-bets that were forced to make the house edge, to make their casino edge, because obviously you can't put a game out that doesn't have a casino edge. But so crisscross poker, like I said, again, I always look at like popular games, like a new game we got coming out called 3-Card Blitz, like a flush-based game. Again, it's a game that crisscross, a game that I played when I was young. I enjoyed it. My friends, we had a lot of fun playing it. And the challenge is, how do you make that into a casino game with the betting structure? I mean, even look at like the games like the popular games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em. What's Ultimate Texas Hold'em? It's just regular poker, but they came up with the great idea on how to add the blind in there to get that house advantage and come up with that betting structure. So that's really the key. Game developing, it's great, it's fun. It's just it's very tough road. Though, because not only to come up with these games, the math analysis and the layout, you got to make sure the game is simple. It's got to be quick. It's got to be easy for the players to understand. All them things are important. But then when you start getting into licensing the games and getting the game approvals from the jurisdictions and stuff, it gets very expensive and challenging. So.
And I've had Jeff Hall, I had Roger Snow. And I've had several of the main developers of table games. And, table games has changed significantly. I mean, it was fairly easy to get these things patented. And then a few years ago, they changed the patent laws. And now it's a struggle to get something that's not a real big removal from like cards and dice to a patent level. So, now, you were lucky. I believe Crisscross and your other games are patented. But these new games, you almost got to get name recognition and get the trademark. That's your first step in getting them protected. And then the patent would be the last thing you would think about. Am I correct?
You're correct. I mean, patents now, I don't even know if they even patent table games anymore. And all the games that are out there, most of them don't have patents anymore. That's why the companies now, including AGS, we're doing site licenses and things like that to offer, not only our premium games that we have patents on, but other premium games. And, the key is, what's the difference? And, us at AGS, we feel like the difference is, that our progressive platform is just so, really, really advanced to where, we want to be now with this, with our progressives on these games, with the poker baron.
You started selling your games to AGS around 2014. I think it started with Crisscross and Super 4, and then you joined the team in 2017. I think they brought the rest of the, InBet became part of AGS. What made you make that decision to join the AGS team?
Okay. when I first in 2014, the senior vice president of AGS, John Hamburger, came to me, and he knew of me. He worked at Shuffle Master. Shuffle Master was actually one of the first companies that actually bought one of my first games called Double Draw Poker, which is also a pretty solid game out there. It's been around now for about 6-7 years. But he came to me and said, listen, I'm opening up a table game department for a company called AGS. What products do you have? And I told him, I said, right now I have this many units of my in-bed out. I have this many units of a crisscross, this many units of my hot roller craps. And he's like, okay, well, we need the content. And I was like, well, I'm not selling, that's my business. I'm not going to sell you my business right now. But they said, no, we really want, we like the content. We like you. We want to buy it. So they did buy them games back in 2014. So I didn't join AGS back then. I actually moved on to developing more games. And then I sort of seen the trend turning with technology and stuff, and that's when I really got into the progressives. And I developed the Super 4 progressive, which has become super popular. I've developed the probably the only baccarat progressive now out in the field that's successful, called Royal 9. I mean, we have over hundreds of units out there already. I think again, it was like a niche. I mean, when you think of a baccarat progressive, and I've always tried to come up with baccarat progressives. Why didn't any baccarat progressives work? My thinking was because in baccarat you only have one hand, and if you have 6 people playing a progressive and a hand hits, who wins the progressive, right? So I came up with a unique way to give every single person on the table their own personal combination to win the progressive. And that went over really big, And with the using the AGS progressive system, with the it's a 5-meter system. We put on some quick hitting jackpots. We put on their must hit, which is a super success, right now. So that was my next step, And I actually, used Shuffle Master system when I first opened up my Super 4. They just didn't even have a progressive system then. And then I ended up getting out hundreds and hundreds of units, and it was very successful. And it came to the time when AGS came and made me an offer and said, listen, we have progressive now, a system, a progressive platform. We need content. And that's when they bought it. So part of the deal was now, okay, if you're going to buy all my progressive platform and buy my games out again, basically in bed gaming, I'm not going to have any more games again to sell. So, and it takes so long to develop more stuff. They said part of the deal would be like, well, that'd be great because we would love to have you come on, help us sell it, use your experience. I mean, I'm involved in game development at AGS. I'm involved in training. I'm involved in sales of AGS. I mean, we've grown since 2014. I think it's remarkable, but they've done a great job. David Lopez, the CEO, John Hamburger, the senior vice president. I mean, they've built. Right now, I think we have over 4,000 table game units installed. I mean, you're talking 1,500 progressives out there, hundreds of games.
You got a fantastic team. I mean, Matt Pineapple's on the sales, and John and yourself. I mean, you guys can't help to be successful as long as you got the right product. And Super 4's killing it, putting a lot of pressure on other vendors. Crisscross, these games are moving fast. They're moving very fast. So let me ask you a question here. Now you're the vice president of sales, and COVID hits. So what's been the strategy for AGS now in this weird time we're living in?
Well, that's a great question. And that was something that we spent a lot of time trying to develop a plan to partner up with the casinos during this COVID. And we try to come out with like a step-by-step plan. Okay. And I think, when they were, the president's doing a 15-step plan, things like that to get back to normal, we were trying to come up with our own plan. And I think the first step was, the casinos were closed, so that means AGS is closed. There's no revenue. So our goal is, how do we help our our customers and casinos get reopened. And that's when AGS actually partnered with a company called Tioli Gaming, and we had a product that it's called Visit Deal, and there were the plexiglass shields that we use and sold, over 1,000 shields for table games, slots, and just to try to help our casino partners get reopen. And the commission, there are some commissions and jurisdictions out there that you have to have shields on your games before you can open. So we were on a really tight timeline. Like, people were calling us up and they were like, I need these shields, but I need them in 2 weeks. And I mean, there was
I was one of them guys.
Right, you were one of those guys, and there was like a shortage of plexiglass, and the manufacturers like, we can never get these done. But we really worked hard. We thought it was a great goal to try to help the casinos. We thought it was a great for our AEs to instead of letting them go or putting them on furlough, they stayed in the game. They stayed in contact with our customers. They were there to help them. And even though it wasn't a money thing, like it wasn't a high profit endeavor for AGS, we just felt like we wanted to do our part to help these casinos get open, and the safest and healthiest way, because that was our first step. And now now that we're open, we're still like, our second step is now, like, we're still evaluating other products to provide a safer and healthier environment for both the employees and the customers in the casino. And one of the problems, I think the biggest problem in the casino is spreading germs and spreading the virus, is the chips, the handling of chips. So you're going to see within the next week or 2 weeks, we're putting out a massive email blast. We're teaming up with another company, and we are going to introduce a nano coating and sealant for your any high touch surfaces, for your chips, for your buttons on slot machines where people constantly touch. And I think right now, like, casinos are missing the mark. They're using an inefficient, very expensive way to clean chips like every day, to wash them. It's not serving the purpose. This nano coating coats and seals your chips. It lasts up to 5 years. We've had tests. We're going to bring out proof that this kills any germs or viruses on your chips. You won't even have to clean your chips anymore.
Have you seen upstate New York, the method they got to use of the buckets and the sponges?
Crazy, right? Because the commission said they can only handle the chips one time before they have to be washed again. And I know casinos where they clean the chips every night at the table. I mean, this is, just think of what this can do. I mean, to help protect your employees. And we could coat your shields. We can coat the slot buttons. We might, we're looking into coating the cards, plastic cards. I mean, there's unlimited uses for this. And I think the casinos really need to get involved in not only the table games and stuff, but other ways to keep protecting the players and the employees from this disease. And
I'm sure this new idea is locked away in a vault like Kentucky Fried Chicken's recipe right about now, I would guess, right, Ron?
Yeah, it is, but we've been working on it now for over a month and a half now, and we've been testing and we've been coating chips, and we're really happy to where we're at. So I think we will be rolling it out probably within the next week or two. It's with a company. It's an InvisiSeal solution, and I mean, it's just great. And this nano coating, it's not a new technology. It's just an expensive technology, but it's been used back in the day to coat like surgical equipment. And you're going to see they're going to start coming out like coating planes, the inside of planes and stuff like that. Because I mean, just think about it. Any high touch surface, if there no germs or viruses can grow on it, I mean, to me, that's one of the biggest problems right now in the casino is the chip.
That's really cool. Anything else you guys got on the burner that is exciting, COVID or not COVID related?
Yeah, because we're, obviously we're in October now, which is our G2E time. And unfortunately, again, no G2E this year. We also do a Game On. AGS usually does a Game On convention every year that we couldn't do this year. But it's not going to stop us. We're focused on actually launching three major products in the very near future, two for table games, one for slots. We're coming out with, we really think this is a game changer for progressives, but we're coming out with a bonus spin extreme on our new progressive platform. And, AGS, like you said before, we have a nice mix of diversified gaming employees. Like you said, Matt Pineapple, he was from Scientific Games. Eric Efro's GPI. I think he worked at Genesis. We have Jamie straight out of UNLV, Jamie Smith. And we have like he's sort of our math guy, and our I guess like game developer guy for AGS, and his name is Jamie Aberson. He worked for DEQ. Well, Jamie is really the responsible right now for our popular bonus spin progressive platform. And the players just love spinning that wheel on the table games. And now this bonus spin extreme, it's really going to take our bonus spin to the next level, and probably in three different facets. The first one is with the bonus spin extreme, and I don't think this has ever been done in a casino before, but we are going to be able to link all the different games on the casino floor together with this bonus spin extreme. I mean, I'm not talking about just like your poker variant games or anything like that. I'm talking about your craps, your roulette, your baccarat, your blackjack, your poker variant games. They're all going to be linked on the floor. So this is like great news for the casino, because now you're only seating one meter, and all your games are linked. So that is like, I really think that's like going to be crazy, and especially like for games like roulette, which hasn't had anything new on it for 100 years. So people are really excited about it when we showed this to a lot of our customers. But that's going to be one great feature. The other great feature that I think it's going to be game changer is that the bonus spin extreme is going to be a community prize for everybody that's playing the progressive at the table. So, just think about what that's going to do for participation. If I'm playing at the table and two other people are playing and somebody's not playing, and, the hand comes up, we all are participating in that bonus spin. So what I mean by that is the bonus spin extreme wheel, right? We'll just take an example like the roulette, okay? Let's say everybody bets the progressive, and we'll just go, for simple purposes, we'll just say the 0 is the trigger. So 0 hits. Now we get to spin the bonus spin wheel. So everybody's excited because everybody's going to win. Now there's 3 actual wheels on a bonus spin. So the first wheel goes around and say it stops at $100. Okay, so everybody's going to win $100. The second wheel spins around and it stops at a person's spot, like spot 3 or 4, wherever you're sitting. And then the third wheel gives you a higher prize, maybe $500. So the person in C3 wins $500 and everybody else at the table wins $100. So, I mean, just that excitement of like, oh, we're spinning a wheel now and everybody knows they're going to win and they're all winning together. They're all rooting for the same outcome. And, so we really think that is going to be probably a real game changer in our platform. And then we're going to add the must hit, which is probably the best feature we have on our stacks progressive now. And a must hit's very simple. From slot machines and stuff, there's a certain amount the meter has to hit by. So, if it has to hit by, say, it starts at 100 and it has to hit by 500. I mean, just think, when it starts getting up to 400 for something, everybody knows that meter is going to hit before it hits 500. So all of a sudden, now how could you not play it? You know what I mean? Somebody in the casino is going to win it, and it just randomly selects anybody who's playing the progressive.
That's a very popular feature, and as I'm sure you're familiar that every bet doesn't work in every jurisdiction. It's amazing. Like you might have crisscross poker in Massachusetts, and you'll go right next to Pennsylvania. You couldn't sell a unit if you tried. I learned that when I was vice president of table games for Jack Entertainment. I was taking care of the Detroit property, the Cleveland property, and the Cincinnati property, and they had Perfect Pairs. I think Perfect Pairs is the name of it in Detroit. And it's the only place I've ever seen this bet. It's Huxley's bet. It's the only place in the world I ever seen it be this popular. And I couldn't have taken that game out. I would have got shot. I would have immediately wrecked the casino by taking that. It's all over Detroit. But I'm telling you, it don't work nowhere else. It doesn't work nowhere. And it's the funniest thing in the world. Like you're talking about, it. There may be a jurisdiction where must hit is just so hot, and then other places where people could care less. And that's it's strange. It's strange, but it's just part of the reality. And I always tell people, if you go into a new jurisdiction, don't bring all your old shit wherever your other property was with you. Don't just imagine, just immediately think it's going to work. You've got to you understand the your competitive set and what's going on there before you go after. Now, if you're going into a new jurisdiction where there's nothing there, you can try just about everything. But when you're going into a very competitive market, look at your competitors. You just don't cookie cutter your old operation, because you're going to get killed. Well, we're about running out of time. I want to ask you, what do you see as the future in table games? I mean, in any aspect, what do you see now? We went through this time period of craziness. Does that all go away and we all go back to normal? Is there's something big out there that hasn't been thought of yet? I asked Roger, I said, are we going to get into the phase of, like the movies are doing? The movies have like no original things. They're doing remake after remake after remake after remake. Is that what we get into now, or is there still life in table games for new products?
I think there's life in table games for new products. I mean, like I said, we had 3 major products with the Bonus Spin Extreme coming out. We got a pack shuffler coming out that, delivers. We have a Star Wars slot machine that I already seen. It's already in the market. That's unbelievable. But I think for table games, I think that, there is going to be a market. I mean, a lot of people are saying, oh, they're going to go to electronic table games and things like that. But, even like now when the casinos are just coming back on and people are like, oh, you can't get games out, you can't do anything different. I totally disagree with that. I always think there's room to improve your floor. I think people are always going to want to play table games and interact with dealers and chips. And, we don't know where the COVID's going to, this whole COVID thing's going to lead. But I would hope that, that table games would still have a future. I think that there's always room. Like right now I can't understand, like in this market and stuff, if you're a casino manager, right, you're always going to try to improve your casino. I was never a casino manager and I was just, okay, I'm happy with what I'm making, or you know what, it's COVID now and we can't do anything new. We can't spend any money. And I don't believe that, if you don't have progressives on your game at this time, you're missing the boat. You're missing the money. And people are like, well, you got to pay this much a month for it. That much a month is covered in the first day or two. Like, it's just crazy. So, yeah, I'm hopeful. It's very tough now for developers like myself or somebody that's not working with a big company because, like you said, like we're focused now on AGS. We have such a wide, expanded product line between table games, progressive platforms, our ACOT chip trays or signage, shufflers, that we offer customers like the mix and match things on our floor, because like you said, every jurisdiction is different. We try to be honest with our customers. If something doesn't work, let's try this. Why didn't it work? Yeah, because this doesn't work in this jurisdiction. Okay, let's replace it with this, and we think that our product offering now is, we built it out to make the whole pit, to make our be good partners with our customers. And we have the product. I think we do have new stuff coming out that people are going to like. So, I think as long as we keep developing and coming out with new material, I think it will keep the players from, when we come out with this Bonus Spin Extreme, I think players are going to want to play table games and try it, so.
Well, I really don't think in my lifetime we're going to see chips and cards and all that go away. I mean, unless we get hit with 14 pandemics in a row.
Especially with potent senior chips and cards.
Yeah, I just don't see it happening. One thing I got to say is, anytime I picked up the phone and called Ron, he responded. Anytime I called Matt Pineapple, it doesn't matter what time it is. One time I forget what time it is, and I woke him up in the middle of the morning. But they always answer the phone. Great group of people. I'm really excited for where AGS is going, and now that you're joined the team, Ron, it can't do nothing but just skyrocket from here. Any final words for the viewers out there before we cut you loose?
Well, just like I said, just we're not stopping because of COVID. We are continuing to develop products. And we're also looking at other products to keep everybody safe and healthy in the casino environment. I mean, we are in the same boat. We don't want the casinos to close back down. So we're going to do anything we can to keep it, our part. And, we're going to just continue to put out great products and, do fair deals with our customers. And, hopefully, like you said, there's enough out there for everybody.
Well, thanks for joining us, Ron, and everybody out there. If you like this program, be sure to subscribe. There's a button down here somewhere. Just I'm pointing to it. Subscribe. That helps me get a bigger audience here with YouTube, and we'll get great guys like Ron to being willing to come on the show. So, Ron, have a great day. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a great day, and thanks for being in the know.